Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
I suck, you suck, I suck at Call of Duty. You suck. You suck. You suck.
Welcome to the Not Playing Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and today I'm joined by
Ian Bruce,
Marcus Hurley,
and
Will.
So, we've got a lot to talk about today. Me and Marcus have been to Rezzed, EGX Rezzed at Tobacco Dock. That was last Friday. But before that, I want to find out from Will what he thought about Far Cry 5 and whether or not it's worth going back after 3 and 4.
Why, thank you, Rob.
And 1 and 2, of course, as well. But I don't know, 3 and 4 were more recently. And I think this is more in the realms of 3 and 4, isn't it?
Very much so, yeah. It's good fun. It's a lot of fun. Far Cry games always are. They have changed a handful of bits. They've opened up a bit more variety in the quests and stuff. And it's a different landscape, therefore different sets of people to
America!
kill. America! Yeah, it's good fun. There's fishing, which was surprisingly addictive. Yeah, that's the first time fishing has featured heavily in a Far Cry game. I've yet to try and kill anyone with a fishing rod. I should probably try and do that. Because I suspect it's fully capable of doing so. But yeah, it's plot-wise, thin as a pancake, as per the previous games, really. You know, just people trying to take over an area and ruling with an iron fist. It's quite good fun. There's not an awful lot of moral decisions. But you get to get an awful lot of different weapons. Pretty much the same set pieces. You know, the rocket launchers, the grenade launchers, the flamethrowers, the assault rifles, and always, for me, the bow and arrow. It always goes back to the bow and arrow. I think the biggest improvement is the companions, which are really cool. So I was running around at one point, basically with my pet dog and my pet bear, who was called...
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger, thank you, old chap. The bear's basically a tank, can go in. The followers are fairly intelligent, sometimes. The dog's really useful, goes in if you're playing stealthy and kind of sniffs around the area and tells you where enemies are, marks them up, rather than having to use the binoculars. And there's a really cool kind of, different companions work for the different play styles. So you can get a woman in a helicopter who just guns people down, or a bloke in a plane doing similar. Or you can get the sniper who does long distance, or you get the archer who'll stealth along with you. So it's kind of like a full complement. And Herc is back. Herc, the explosion-loving redneck. So that's
nice.
Good fun. The main criticism I'd have is it's just another Far Cry. But my delight, and I don't think it's too much of a spoiler, there's an early mission where they send you up to take over this radio tower, which... should unlock things.
A radio tower?
Yep, you got the radio tower. But then he kind of goes, but that's the only one around here because you don't really need a lot of radio towers. And then there's no more radio towers in the game. So it's a little bit of self-awareness from me, which I appreciated.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, the plot's good. You've kind of got 3 different areas to take over with 3 sort of end bosses who are the brothers and sister of the main baddie, who is running a religious cult. A lot of drug-induced brainwashing. It's all believable if you squint and try not to think too much. And it's just great fun. So, I spent quite a lot of hours playing it and thoroughly enjoyed it. So
have you done any co-op with it?
Nice.
Will?
I know I haven't, actually. It's the only thing I've not really done. So if anyone does pick it up on the PS4, it's the sort of game... I've done the main quests. I'll probably leave it a month or 2 and then go back and look for the platinum.
Right.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, I might get it. If I get it, I probably will get it on PS4 for the HDR-ness of it.
Of course, you've got a Pro, haven't you?
I have, yeah. So that was I did that kind of proactively about a year ago when they came out.
Oh, but if only you had a nice telly to put it through.
fuck.
Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna bang on about that too much. I probably
You're
will.
not going to bang on about your brand new 55-inch OLED telly.
No, not until I get God of War for it. Then you won't be able to. I won't be able to talk about anything else, from what I understand. But, yeah, no, Far Cry 5 looks cool. I watched the little short on Amazon. They did like a little live action movie that kind of sets up the main villains and stuff.
Like they did for The Division, right?
Did they do that for Division?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know they do the trailers sometimes, but yeah, no, I'm interested in playing it for sure. So yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's just kind of another Far Cry, but the settings are a refreshing change, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, graphically it's beautiful. They've not really tweaked the engine as far as I can see around the combat side of things, but that's because there was never anything wrong with it. It's entirely playable. You do not have to engage your brain. It's also not difficult. The thing that surprised and disappointed me slightly, because I've always played Far Cry on hard, is that there was no difficulty settings. And it does very, very easy to just go in and destroy things towards the end. You're overpowered, so I always enjoyed the bit of the challenge.
That's
so
a
that
bit
was
rubbish.
surprising. Yeah, but it's enjoyable. It's the funny thing is, it's for this like fairly sparse environment, it's positively full. You finish this quest and you go, right, I'm going to go along to the next bit of the main objective, and you climb up this hill and there's this woman being attacked by a cougar or something, and you kill the cougar, and then she talks to you and she tells you about the guy over, a few hundred yards away who's got trouble with his aeroplane and his wife's pregnant. So you go across on that mission and you do that and you help him out and you get this pilot helper, and then you're just doing that and you wander across and there's a new fishing spot on the place you're heading to, and it's a game purely about distraction. The main quest is all right and the story is fun. The side missions make it absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, it's quite interesting. Also, it's not a massive collectathon like the previous ones.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
There are a couple of collector missions, but it shows you on the map, or you can buy maps to show where the icons are. But it doesn't feel completely like busy work being created, because Ubi were really guilty of that a couple of years back. So that's an improvement.
Yeah. It's almost like Pac-Man hoovering up all those little treasure chests and stuff.
Yeah, you got to get every single little box. Yeah, I've noticed Assassin's Creed and those chests was awful to me. I don't know. Has anyone played it? Oranges.
Yes.
Oranges.
Yeah. Sorry,
quite
you're a
enjoyed it.
gamer joke.
I haven't played it yet.
I'm quite enjoying Origins.
Yeah. Is anything to note? I will pick it up, definitely.
The combat is different from previous Creeds.
Better or worse? Have they just gone Batman?
They've gone... Yeah, they've kind of gone Batman. But and it's okay. I think it's okay. It just makes the world... Well, yeah, it's it's all right. That's the best I can give it. 5 out of 7.
The thing is, the combat, when you got into it, you were doing it wrong anyway. It was you've screwed the pooch if you're in an active fight with a load of people. Really, you're a shit assassin.
But I do really like the world in Oranges. I think they've done that really well. And although I guess it's like Far Cry, it's just the same shit over and over in different places. It feels like a real place.
I'm assuming you're still scaling things to the eagle view. That's all still part of it, because, like I say, the Far Cry equivalent was the radio towers, and they got rid of that. But you still have to unlock all the areas and all the icons and stuff that way.
You can do. Yeah. Yeah, it's not quite as high as it used to be, given that it's mostly a flat place.
Yeah, that's really cool. But you've actually got eagle vision in another way, haven't you? Because you've got a pet eagle.
Yes. Yeah.
Does that bring any new
Horus
depth?
vision.
Not really. It's a basic companion. It will do some attacks for you, but I mean, I don't really know why I got it. I was having a Ubisoft spurt, and I got Wildlands as well, which I've played probably 100 hours in now. Beautiful game. But yeah,
very much enjoying that.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I think we've done it before, haven't we?
Oh,
we talked about it a bit last time. But yeah, we're sort of... No, you weren't around, but yeah...
And I wasn't going to listen to it.
I mean, it's good. I think it definitely does the job for like 4-player co-op, which, you know, it's a bit of a hodgepodge of lots of different games, but it's got a very good range of combat in that. Like I said before, you know, you can play it like GTA, or you can play it like Ghost Recon. So,
Rob,
yeah.
would you like us to do a number of lines such as, "Yes, I remember that from the episode you talked about it," just to drop in future? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's what we thought about Ghost Recon Wildlands.
About name of
insert here.
Name of game here.
Yeah. No, I am going to get round to Assassin's Creed Oranges, but I'm being like bloody minded and doing all the other ones first, even if they're a bit shit.
And that's all right.
Because I can borrow them all from work, see? So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So next up is Unity. Oh dear.
No, just don't. Really don't. No.
Syndicate was fun, but Unity's broken without an online playing environment. You can't do the majority of the missions.
Yeah, it's
broken anyway.
It was their biggest misstep, Unity. Just don't, mate, really. I beg you, don't.
Yeah, I've got it and I haven't bothered.
But Syndicate, though. Syndicate I really enjoyed. Really, really enjoyed. Mainly because it's London tan, innit?
Yeah, well, I'm intrigued by that, obviously. So I just have to do Syndicate and then Oranges.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, maybe
Oranges
I'll give that a shot later in the year. Yeah, cool. All right. So, I suppose we've... Yeah?
Any of you guys still playing Overwatch? Little Overwatch update yet?
I think a friend of the show, Adam, is.
Oh, yes, I'm still thoroughly enjoying that. They've introduced 2 new characters over the last few months, 2 new healers, and now I'm starting to play it on the arcade mode, or the general quick play, and you've got people picking healers first, which is amazing.
Well, that's hacks, obviously.
No, they've just introduced a couple of really good offensive healers, and it's changed the game quite substantially. So, if any of you fancy picking it up, or if people listening fancy revisiting it because they could never get any supports on, give it a go. Brigitte, the new healer, I'm generally getting gold on kills as well with, so that's fun.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
I did enjoy it, but I don't know if it was quite doing the job for like our weekly session. I think we do kind of lean towards the PvE stuff a bit more now, and I think the
well, there's a good PvE event on at the moment on Overwatch actually, which is kind of fun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I should probably give it another look, but
yeah,
no, as far I don't know, maybe, but no, as far as gaming goes, while we're still talking about Ubisoft, actually, I finished Splinter Cell Blacklist, which was the last Splinter Cell game, and apparently the rumour is Ubisoft are going to announce another one. But I couldn't believe that was 5 years ago. So I actually finally got round to it just in time for them to announce another one. But I did enjoy it. I think so. Well, it depends if you like those sort of games. I mean, it does feel very much like a Batman game, but I think Batman borrowed a bit off of Splinter Cell, to be honest.
I'm assuming console-wise, it was pre-PS3 if it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't get backwards compatibility on my console, so it's not going to happen because I sold my PS3.
Fair enough, but I'll tell you what, you can probably pick it up in a Steam sale for £5 and you don't need much of a PC to run it. I was running it in 4K on mine, which, nowadays is a fairly modest PC. But no, I really enjoyed it. There was loads and loads of sort of co-op stuff that I could have done if anyone else waited that long to play it.
I did the co-op stuff for that, I think, with Radders.
Yeah.
Really good fun. Really, it forced you to play the game type, really. It wouldn't, you couldn't just rush in guns blazing. You had to stealth in and communicate and coordinate and stuff. And that's what I really like about Wildlands. When we do that, as well as driving each other off cliffs and stuff, I enjoy that as well.
Yeah.
On the silly little games front, speaking of coordination and communication, I've been playing games with the wife on the Nintendo Switch recently. Have any of you played Overcooked?
I've played it with friends. It's insane. Yeah.
It is, yes.
I'm loving games like that.
Yeah. So you're basically playing up to 4 chefs in a kitchen, one each, 4-player split screen, 4-player single screen, single area, and you just have to coordinate cooking. But you get more and more ridiculous challenges. So you might be on a pirate ship, and when it gets wavy, the whole kitchen realigns in the middle of cooking. So if anyone fancies a little couch co-op game, strongly recommended.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's very much like the old Bomberman days kind of thing. That sort of feel.
It's that overhead view, same sort of movement.
Yeah.
Oh, and I will be picking up Bomberman for the Switch the moment it's a reasonable price, because that's a cracking game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. We had a little tournament of that at work a few months back. I failed miserably. I was rubbish. But yeah, while we're on the subject of Switch, that's a really good point at which to transition into EGX Rezzed.
A nice point to switch, Rob. You
switch.
missed the trick.
Oh, no.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Reggie would be proud.
Let's switch over to EGX Rezzed, and the reason I say that is because the presence of the Nintendo Switch was in abundance. Literally every other game that we played, I think, was on the Switch.
Yeah.
They had their own little booth there, and like many of the like indie stands, which normally would be PC games, they were all on Switch, playing with the the arcade controller for it, which is actually really.
Yeah,
it's a really nice controller, actually. I think it might be the best one of the bunch, actually, as far as the new consoles go. It really feels really good in the hand, So anyway, there was a lot of Switch at Rezzed. Always tried to go to Rezzed. This time had Marcus with me, which was excellent. So we tried lots of things, and I'll turn it over to Marcus first. Let's just go through, you could give your overall thoughts of the place if you want, but I'm just thinking maybe we can go through our favourite games that we played there, going from the best downwards or something.
Yeah, sure. Well, it was quite an experience for me, to be honest. It's been a while since I've been on one of those. I thought it was going to be a floor show. I didn't realise it was segmented up into rooms and stuff, and the way that Tobacco Dock is, it was actually a pretty cool layout for it, because you're on your way to find something, and you look through these kind of little glass segregated windows and wonder what the hell's going on in there. You end up segregating into there, and then you just get distracted by everything, so everything pulls you in. Some of the big hitters were there: Nintendo, obviously, as Rob mentioned, and Xbox and Sony, and they offered kind of their typical ones, but they were okay, but probably not the most interesting. I would say out of the 3, Nintendo definitely had the most interesting games there so far, considering I think we were both playing at least 2 of them or something like that.
So is this stuff that's exclusive to Nintendo, or is this stuff that's
no?
It's
they had a Switch sort of area with a circle set up with loads of switches, sort of in a almost Stonehenge-esque sort of layout.
Switch
Switch-henge, yeah. But a lot of these were just cabinets, and you played it and you didn't realise until you were handed the controller that it was a Switch Pro controller, which, as Rob said, does actually feel really nice. I'm not sure how they've done it, but it's such a smooth material. They've gone for not so much the gloss like a lot of people have. It's sort of like a matte, and just the way that the ergonomics work, it's pretty good. It feels quite nice.
It's like the bits you put your hands around are kind of a little bit thinner, but the actual base of the controller is still quite substantial.
Yeah,
so it feels like you're holding something, but doesn't feel quite as bulbous.
Yeah, it's perfectly balanced.
Are we still talking about the Switch controller here?
Yeah. Well, anyway, so then after we left the toilets, we went to...
What, if you'd made friends? Yep.
I was so pleased Marcus came this time.
Yeah.
Oh, Rob.
Next time is your go,
double entendre.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it was. I recommend it. It was really good. There were so many games, some of which were absolutely stunning. Right? Sorry, yeah, go on. But yeah, but I think
he's just riffing. Don't worry.
Yeah, he totally is. But
so you said you recommended it. I just didn't know if you meant you recommended the event or the controller, but both.
I recommend both, to be honest. I'm probably going to be... It's made me want to get a Switch, as opposed to looking at getting a Switch.
There's some good deals out now.
To get a Switch.
Yeah, there's some good deals out now. I'm playing on my commute at the moment. I'm back on Mario versus Rabbids.
I would say one that to look out for. It's a game that I played. It was a demo. It's called Iconauts. I think it's called Iconauts. I've got a metric, if you excuse the language.
Iconoclast. Is the one
Iconoclast, that's it, yeah. Iconoclast, and it's impressive. It's kind of like a side-scrolling puzzle sort of shoot 'em up sort of thing, but it pretty much it's I don't know. It's sort of like more pixelated graphics, sort of in the slightly Sonic, Mega Man sort of vein, but it just oozed just quality. It felt fun to play. You're basically
what kind of game?
You play a girl with it's the blaster and tool to open doors sort of combo. So you've got like a
side scroller.
It's like
a side scroller
puzzle shoot 'em up sort of thing.
It's like a Metroidvania kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it quite hard to explain.
Yeah, well, it's like there's a little bit of combat and it's all kind of puzzle orientated, but it's all done by one guy. The guy demoing it explained that this was all the work of one man.
Yeah.
And it's got a very retro aesthetic, and I really like the way that you kind of learn it. It sort of teaches you at a very cool pace.
And the puzzles get more difficult, and some of the puzzles are multi-screen, so it's not like sometimes you end up backtracking quite a few parts of the area because you unlock something and it's further back. And it's just very old school video gaming, which I think Nintendo are kind of making their thing. I think that's what the Switch seems to be bringing. It's almost like, which is what they've always done, but whereas everyone else is going bigger and better and spending millions, they're making games that are, well, fulfilling gamers' needs. They're making games, not making them like movies.
I think it's the kind of game that would really work well on a commute, you know, where you feel like you were making progress in a half an hour or something, you know, or even in 10 minutes. Seemed really cool. I'm just going to move it along to something I quite liked, or we'll be here all day because there was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot. So my favourite game of the show was a game called The World is Flat. And I've been telling everyone about this all weekend, probably much to their annoyance. But it was brilliant because it wasn't in VR or anything like that. Actually, not very much VR, I have to say. There was some, but it wasn't front and centre at all this year. This game, it was in the rock, paper, shotgun area. And what it is you've got in front of you a giant plastic ball, like the size of one of those like hopper things that you would like bounce around on, pretty much about that size. Yeah. But you sit in front of it, and on the screen is a 3D representation of planet Earth. And on the screen, all it says is "Find Brazil" to begin. So you move the ball around to Brazil, and so it's centered. And it goes, okay, now find India, Canada, and Egypt. And so you have to find each of those places. And each time you find one of those places, it replaces it with somewhere else. And there's like these lines kind of coming around the globe to sort of represent time, like a time limit. And basically then it will start saying, like, find Mozambique, find Tunisia.
So this is going to be really popular in geography lessons.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. But it was really fun to just play in that way. And there's no way you're ever going to be able to play this at home. They're never going to launch this as a peripheral. It was just almost like an exhibit, you know, like
interactive,
kind of.
Yeah.
But that's the reason I go to these shows. You know, it's not so that I can see a game that I can buy in the Steam sale in 2 years' time or whatever. It's to find those kind of things. And they had a few other things like that in that area of the show. There was one where there was one called Stereopolis, and I actually spoke to the designer, a French guy I think he was, and it's like a projector being fired at you, and then but before it gets to your eyes, there's a piece of frosted glass, and like there's a like 3D map being beamed onto it, and you have to kind of just navigate that. And I thought that was excellent as well. And yeah, you're never going to be able to buy that at home either. But
I've got this mental image of what you described, but I suspect it's nothing like what you've experienced. Because I'm just
yeah, it's pretty bonkers. I'm doing my best here to describe it.
I would say, Will, most of the things in here looked a bit like a Red Dwarf set. It was just insane.
Right. Yeah.
there was this other one as well, and it was like a self-contained object that looked kind of slightly steampunk via 80s metal with like neon bits on it and twiddly knobs and stuff, and you were playing these really surreal games, like lining up the flickering television sets with eyes and stuff like that, and it was just really strange.
So presumably this whole expo is very sort of indie focused from the sound of it. You've not got the AAA stuff out there.
Oh no, there was as well.
There was some of
them.
Was there anything interesting from that? Oh, sorry, no, not knocking the indie stuff at all because it's awesome and cool. But curious to know if did you get any hands on with any heavy hitters or anything interesting there?
I don't know. Generally, there's nothing like the Far Cry wasn't there. You know, there was no God of War or anything like that. Sony were there, but they were demoing their PlayStation Now stuff, like their streaming stuff.
That's going to die soon. It's either going to die soon or they'll finally get the tech good enough.
Yeah. A certain company that pays my wages were there, but I'm not going to talk about that at any length.
Yeah, they were showing their retro Mega Drive.
No. But they had some like Total War stuff there and some Sonic stuff.
So you are going to talk about it a bit?
Yeah.
That's it, I'm done.
Okay.
Well, saving Rob, there were some games
Sorry, just one moment. Total War they had out there, was that more of the Warhammer or was there a new Total War coming?
They were demoing Britannia, which I think is an add-on for the last one. God, I'm so rubbish.
Sorry, your product knowledge is lacking, Rob.
Definitely not sponsored.
I think it's like a standalone, because I think... Alright, if you want me to get into it. They have like their full releases, and then they've got these kind of in-between like standalone expansions.
Right.
I think Britannia is to do with like Vikings and stuff. So that's what they were showing there.
Okay.
Because Vikings are cool.
Yes.
Oh.
But yeah, there were some games that were... Sorry. Yeah. There were some games...
Go on, Marcus.
No, go on. That's alright, sorry.
Go on, mate. Go on.
Thank you. There were some games that were more than... Let's just end it here.
Sorry.
Anyway,
we've got to give Rob something to do in the edit.
There were some other games that obviously, whilst being sort of indie, looked a hell of a lot better than everything else. I put a little link down there. Lost Ember was one of them. This was, I think it was on the Unreal 4 engine or something. It looked stunning.
There was an Unreal booth that had lots of stuff, but some of it looked quite generic. And we've seen that before.
This stood out. This was sort of like you were this... I don't even know what it was about. You were this sort of dark wolf, and you were just sort of going around the plain, just a bit of grass and stuff like that. But it looked amazing. I didn't really get to play it, so I don't really know what the story or anything was about it. But it kind of caught my eye, and it's something I said I was going to look into when I got back, and I still haven't had a chance to because I'm a bit pony like that. But this looked amazing. There were a couple of other games that I kind of had on my list. One was it was.
Do you want me to do one while you're looking that up?
Yeah, no, Bad North.
I had a quick
Bad North. And it was sort of like it was a small scale isometric style game where you're basically on this tiny little island, and it's like an RTS style sort of thing. But you've got
the tower
these
defense one.
Yeah, and you've got these boats coming towards you, and you have to like take them out with archers and stuff, and set up your men. That looked a lot of fun.
Interesting. That was so I read. So Eurogamer did an article on the Rezzed stuff. You know, their top games, and they mentioned that. And that I particularly noticed that one. That tickled my fancy. I love a good tower defense game. And
it looked really good in motion.
Tower defense / RTS.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing I really enjoyed about being there, actually seeing these games working. And in some cases, we noticed a couple of them, the frame rate was really janky. So I think, you know, when you see a lot of these screenshots and tech demos of things, and you're kind of like, oh, that looks good. But when you see it actually playing, you kind of think, don't know about that.
If it's not released, it might not be optimised yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
while we're talking about sort of stuff that was a bit more AAA-ish, and a game that I think I mentioned on this show like a little while ago, just after seeing a trailer, I had a little go of Strange Brigade, which is like a B-movie style co-op shooter, which I think will go down very well in a sort of Vermintide type way, but I think the theme might be a bit more interesting. It's also third person, but yeah, you're just running around and there's all these undead running at you, and they kind of like they will come up behind you and stuff. You know, like that was very Vermintide sort of thing. But I like the overall presentation. There are 4 different classes. Each one has different abilities. And that's by Rebellion.
Okay.
Nice, okay.
So you say it's like Vermintide. Is it kind of a fantasy setting, or is it sci-fi, or is it?
No, it's like old Saturday morning special sort of stuff. You know, like it came from the desert, or
cheesy 50s.
Like King Solomon's Mine, Indiana Jones, that kind of crazy stuff. So it's got a cool concept to it, and yeah, I mean, providing it's not insanely overpriced, I'm sure that would go down quite well on a Wednesday night sort of situation.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Have you got any more, Marcus?
I do have another one. Above.
Oh yeah.
And this was it's basically a exploration game, top down. You're a pilot.
It's really cool.
Yeah, you're a female pilot who's basically banished from her village, sort of like Secret of Mana style. But you're in a plane because flight is illegal for women. So she's a female pilot.
Saudi Arabia?
No, it's set in a world. It's set in Waterworld, actually, from what I could tell, because you're basically in islands and the world is flooded mostly. But the cool thing is there are these giant sea creatures that he was saying that in the current version you have to just run from, but he's building it so that you actually can retrofit your plane, build harpoon weapons and all that, and actually go and try and take on these beasts. But it's literally like a nice little top down. You're in a little red plane flying around. You can land, and there's a storyline actually that goes with it. So it's not just endlessly flying around.
Yeah, it looks like 1942 sort of perspective.
Yeah.
But you can go in any direction, and there's like a storyline.
Yeah,
I thought that was just really neat. Like I could totally imagine chilling out playing that. Like
it was so
awesome.
fun. It looked really good as well, and the guy was really enthusiastic about it as well. And he was just like pulling everyone over and sort of thing, and saying, "Come play," which you would if you'd spent hours making it.
More than hours, I'd expect. But yes,
yeah, all of the hours.
I have to do a segue here and just quickly mention that Below was there for probably the 4th year in a row.
So you had a bar band.
It still isn't out. Yes, absolutely.
I didn't find a Sideways though, but
no. One game me and Marcus both had a go of.
Was
at
it
the same
called
time.
Slap Bang in the Middle?
No, unfortunately it wasn't. No, damn it. It was called Tormental, and it's by Crow Team, who do Serious Sam.
Lovely.
But it's a split. It's like what's it called? A split stick.
Smash TV.
Two stick shooter.
Yeah. Like
Smash TV. Yeah. But it's got all the enemies from Smash TV in it. I died horribly. Marcus died shortly afterwards. But it was quite fun. Yeah, it's got all the kind of crazy humour and stuff of Serious Sam. And you can be Serious Sam in it as well, which is quite fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
There was loads. It's ridiculous because there were so many. Oh, there was a horror game as well called Winter Hall, which looked a bit like The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, but in a sort of horror setting. It looked really creepy. I didn't really see much of the actual gameplay, but it was like sort of exploration and in the woods and just creepy. So I dubbed it Creepy Horror Game in the Woods.
I had a quick go of Dead Cells on Switch, which has been in early access on PC for about a year now, and that's kind of like another kind of Metroidvania thing, but it's got a bit of a Dark Souls vibe to it, I suppose, and you get to choose like your weapon loadout, and it just had a really cool vibe, and I can imagine that being a very good commuter game in a similar way to Iconoclast that we mentioned earlier.
So going back to that, sorry, just quickly an alternative segue. So you said you'll be getting your Switch when Dark Souls is available, I believe. We've got a release date on that.
I think, it's end of May, but I think, to be honest, I'm going to have to delay my Switch purchase because
55-inch OLED, yeah.
I just spent $2,000 on home cinema equipment.
Jesus.
So, but I just had to weigh it up, and unfortunately, this had to be done. So,
all right, sorry, please crack on.
No, I do plan on getting a Switch eventually, and by the time I do, there'll be mountains of games to get through.
And none of the first-party games from Nintendo will have dropped in price, I assure you.
Exactly, that'll still be £60.
Yeah, it's really.
But I'll probably be able to pick them up second hand though, or I'll buy them off you, Will.
Actually, my only game that I have on cartridge is the one that came with the Switch, which is Mario vs. Rabbids, but you can get that basically on every single Switch deal.
Fair enough. I think that's kind of most of the good stuff. There were a few other bits and pieces we played. Yeah. There were a few other games that I thought looked a bit dodgy. There was like a Cthulhu-looking game.
Yeah, it was
very ropey.
Was that the Cthulhu game?
The Sinking City.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. It didn't run too well, but
yeah, it looked a bit Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, okay.
Which
there was a weird sort of side-on sort of bikey game called Steel Rats. And the game itself didn't really capture me, but it was the way they presented it. They had this weird sort of robot in the middle of like an open atrium with lots of TVs all bolted together and like with eyes and stuff all over them. And it was just, and they allow people to play it via that. It really kind of caught your attention, but unfortunately the game didn't really capture mine. But
okay.
No. Just before we stop talking about Rezzed, I did want to mention the keynote that we went to first of all, which was with Tim Schafer, the creator of Psychonauts, Secret of Monkey Island, all those adventure games.
Yeah.
There was like a sort of hour-long talk with him and the editor of Eurogamer, just talking about his career and some of the things he's most proud of, some of the mistakes he made, and there was a little QA at the end, and it was really fun. Most interesting thing about him really was that he was hired as a writer/developer, or writer/programmer, and so that's kind of explains a lot in terms of like what the kind of games he makes, and also it was quite interesting how like him talking about how his company. What's his fucking company called?
Double Trouble. Double Fine. Double something.
Thanks, Marcus.
Yeah.
Double Fine. Yeah, how they basically, after Brutal Legend, after that game kind of turned into a sort of smorgasbord of every kind of genre you can imagine, simply because publishers were saying, can you fly? Can you do this? Can you do that? And he was like, yes, fine, okay, we'll put that in there. And eventually, there was a RTS buried in there, all sorts of shit. But he said how like
was that Brutal Legend? That was the one with Jack Black.
Yeah,
that's right.
And that was made by the Monkey Island guys.
That was Double Fine. Yeah, who did Psychonauts. That's why it's so fucking weird.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it, to be honest. But I had to.
Excuse me.
Basically, at the end of that game, it kind of turns into this crazy 3D RTS. And he actually had to do a blog explaining how to play that because they just had to ship it because it was just so batshit. No one could get their head around what they were doing with it. But yeah, I remember reading that blog and I was like, this kind of makes sense. And I did manage to get through it in the end, but it was fucking hard. But anyway, he just talked about how like after that being a bit of, they got asked to do all this stuff to it. They spent loads of money. It didn't make very much money. And so in the end, what they did was they sort of scaled down and made like lots of like little games.
Well, Thimbleweed Park. Has anyone played that? It's on my list.
Is that like a theme park sort of thing?
No, Thimbleweed Park is basically going back to basics as a Monkey Island style game.
Oh, I think that was the other guy. I think that's Ron Gilbert.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Right,
Yeah,
has anyone
because
played it, though?
Tim.
No, not yet.
No.
I haven't, because I did play. I played Broken Age, which was the last game Tim Schafer put out. Well, the big crowd-funded game they did, and I just kind of found that a bit frustrating.
I think
ended
Thimbleweed
up finishing it with a
Park's funny,
walkthrough. I think.
So Thimbleweed Park I'm going to go for. It's been basically a massive throwback to the whole Monkey Island thing. It's coming out on Switch or it's out. I'll pick it up and I'll let you guys know how I get on.
It's on Android and iOS as well.
Ooh. Okay. But I'll play it on Switch because I've got one.
Yeah, all right. Wait till you see my telly.
Right, boys, sticks back in pants, eh? Jesus.
Yeah.
Right, sorry.
I know.
Q&A with not Ron Gilbert.
So the probably the only other remarkable thing I thought was that he has this method of writing where he just says, right, I'm now going to start writing for an hour, and just can't stop writing. You're not allowed to stop writing, and you just end up like stream of consciousness. And he said, like, that's how he's come up with so many of his ideas and puzzles.
I kind of do
that.
That
makes a certain amount of sense.
I do that. I do the same thing at work. I try and do about an hour a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not writing,
Really?
just work.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fair enough. Yes, that's about it. But it was a really fun day. We were there for about 4 or 5 hours. And, yeah, then I came back home and got drunk.
Like
Roll
every
on,
other day.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, pretty much like right now, actually.
Ooh, look
So-
at
You've
him.
changed, Rob. You've changed.
What
What
was
happened to
Jesus
the
say,
smooth captain of the podcast who cracked
Yeah.
the whip and wanted order?
I don't know. His commute got longer.
Well,
Yeah, so I haven't really got anything else to say about Rez. I thought it was better than last year. I thought there was better games. I had better company there with Marcus, and yeah, it was good.
Who went with you last year, mate, that you're insulting every time you say it was good to have Marcus there?
Not you, basically, because you blew me out.
I had fucking work commitments.
Work. Ugh. Yeah, all right.
Biatch. Right.
But no, it is a lot funny. Well, I mean, the thing is, if I go on my own, I go to one of the talks, and then I go and have a quick whiz round, have a quick go on anything that looks interesting,
Yeah.
and then bugger off.
You need someone
But
to
when
compare
I'm-
notes with.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but when you're with someone else, you're kind of cognizant of what they're doing, and so Marcus was playing something, and then I sort of went round the corner and played something else, and then he kind of watched me playing that, and then we went, and it just made it take longer. It made me pay more attention to everything.
he
And,
watched me
yeah, it was-
break this French black and white game that was like a flashback game. It's called Quantum Shift.
Yeah.
Where you it's like a bloke who looks a bit like Neo, because he's just a silhouette though, and you punch
It's
the ground and it flips round.
It's Shift Quantum, because I
Yes,
think
yeah.
Quantum Shift was the other game, wasn't it?
Did you
That was
find
Quantum
yourself
Break,
just
the other
sitting
one.
there saying, I
That's
see
it,
a
that's
little
it, Quantum.
silhouette of a man? Or is that no?
Well, I was kind of thinking that at some point, but then he got stuck in a wall, and the angry French lady behind me got angrier. Then it was time to leave.
Yeah, you did manage to break that, yeah, for sure.
Bravo.
It's game testing. I tested it. It failed.
That's right.
It's like,
That's it, you discovered a bug.
yeah, but
Feature.
yeah, no,
It's a
I'd
feature.
recommend it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a feature.
Right, well,
Yeah, we're
yeah, I
done.
think that just about covers it. Unless anyone's got anything game related they want to mention.
Well, I've picked up. Well, I'm about to probably start playing Bayonetta on the Wii U. I mentioned I bought it a while ago, but I also bought Xenoblade Chronicle X, which was an RPG that came out on it.
Oh, have you started?
Okay.
I've heard
Not
good
yet.
things about that.
Yeah, I know. I was very happy to pick it up for £12 in game.
Wow.
I saw
I
it
think
and
I
I just
might-
grabbed it. It's just like,
I think I might have that in my Steam library, actually.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it was only on the Wii U.
I
think
think
it's-
it's come out on the
Oh,
Switch
no,
as
you
well.
are right, you are right.
It was
You are
only because
right.
the first
this is what I
one
need
was
to work
was
out, right? If you're an avid Switch gamer or an avid Nintendo gamer and you've come back in on the Switch, I'm starting to think it's still worth picking up a second-hand Wii U if you're playing at home. Just to you can pick up the titles, the same games, pretty much the same performance level for a fraction of the cost. I think if you're going to really get hardcore into it, it's worth having both consoles, at least for a while, because you can get the older stuff so much cheaper.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused with Valkyrie Chronicles.
Although, Will, I think, do you, on the Nintendo, sort of their gaming, whatever, I can't remember what it's called, the Nintendo store, they have launched their virtual engine. So I can now buy older games, but obviously they're at the Nintendo tax price.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But the fact that they're releasing older games that you could play on like the SNES and all the other stuff, basically they're making the emulator games legal.
Well, yeah, so long as it's has
make
a
of that what you will,
individual game premium, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can pay the lovely sum of £60 once again for Street Fighter 2. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah.
But I will have to pick up Zelda at some point. I just keep waiting for it to drop
It's a
below
gorgeous game.
£50 on the Switch.
So expensive. I mean, I was looking at the price of God of War. God of War's $45, pretty much everywhere. It's the cheapest I could see it, anyway.
That's the thing. I might be moving at some point this year, which might increase my commute to 90 minutes each way. If that happens, I'm buying Zelda. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? When you make that sort of huge, life-changing sort of purchase, you feel like you have to reward yourself some way. You know, that's in a sort of more frivolous manner. You know what I mean?
Well, it's more if I've got 3 hours a day on a fucking train, I want some decent games.
Are you rationalising your TV there, Rob? Because that's what that sounded like.
I think so.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
No?
It's a completely logical purchase, but I can absolutely afford.
And
it.
it sounds
You
like
can't
you're-
take it with you on the train.
Definitely, yeah.
By
Absolutely.
the way, in the same way as if you've got an Apple phone, you don't just say, "Oh, I sent it by my phone." You said to say, "I sent it by my iPhone." When you say to Rob about his TV, you don't talk about his TV. You talk about his 55-inch OLED TV. Just to be clear.
Yeah, it's like I'm just going to sit down and watch some 55-inch OLED. 4K.
Jesus.
I've been waiting to do this for fucking months. So damn it.
Fair enough.
I thought I'd be able to just do it outright, but unfortunately, moving house is very expensive, especially when you've got nothing.
Who bloody knew, eh?
Yeah, so I bought a new oven and loads of other bollocks.
Yeah, we can just see it over your shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
looks
like
nice.
a video feed. Yeah, so lovely.
Shiny.
The kettle looks beautiful, and the bottle of oil and the badly wrapped kitchen roll is a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Was that put back hastily, the kitchen roll, Rob?
That's my fridge.
Just testing the internet.
I don't know. What's wrong with my kitchen roll?
I love how for a gaming podcast this has turned into.
This
is the interior. This is almost like
Rob's walking around his new flat, showing us his new
Yeah.
flat.
It's gone The Sims.
Yeah, you could have worn some clothes, mate.
God.
What's wrong with shorts?
Nothing, but you should wear them.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry. Oh, shit, I completely forgot.
Yeah, there we go.
Alright, we're done, aren't we?
Thanks for listening to the Not Playing Podcast, part of the Not Listening Podcast Network, where you can also find the Not Watching Podcast, where we talk about movies and TV, and the Not Listening Podcast, where you can hear Adam and Co. talk about all kinds of nonsensical nonsense. You can email us at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. You can find the show notes for all our shows at notlistening.co.uk, and if you like what you've heard here, please do leave us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Until next time, bye!
With no booty, my friend, I'm inclined to agree, 'cause I suck at Call of Duty.